sponsored by Squarespace. For every new Apple product that's released, there's a dozen of prototypes and ideas that don't make the final cut. These aren't just random rumors or fan-made concepts. These are real products, and in some cases, they were officially announced by Apple themselves, but never made it to shelves. Some were scrapped years into development. Others were killed just weeks before their launch. But all of them have one thing in common. They show us that even Apple, a company mostly known for tightly controlled product releases, sometimes has to hit the brakes. From a futuristic Apple car to wireless chargers that couldn't stay cool, this video is all about Apple products that were supposed to change everything, but never actually came out. So what went wrong? Why would Apple cancel projects they poured years of money and development into? And will any of these ideas ever come back? Let's start with one of the most ambitious canceled products Apple's ever worked on, the Apple Car. This wasn't just some rumor that floated around for a few months. Apple spent nearly a decade working on it. Internally, it was called Project Titan, and at one point, they had over 1,000 people working on it, including former Tesla engineers, automotive executives, and robotic experts. It was supposed to be Apple's big move into the future of transportation, an all-electric, fully autonomous car that looked and felt like something only Apple can make. But the project was cursed from the start. First, they couldn't decide what they were actually building. Was it a self-driving system for other cars, or a car Apple would make themselves? The vision kept changing, and every time the project gained momentum, it seemed to hit another wall. Still, leaks and patents kept the hype alive. The Apple Car was supposed to drive itself, have no steering wheel, and even use Siri to control everything. Some reports even said it would launch in 2024, then in 2026. But then, nothing. In early 2024, Apple officially pulled the plug. After nearly 10 years of development, billions of dollars, and absolutely zero public results, the Apple Car was dead. The craziest part? Apple never showed us anything. No renders, no prototypes, not even a teaser. For a company that loves spectacle, the Apple Car's cancellation happened with zero fanfare, just an internal memo. And just like that, one of the biggest what-ifs in Apple's history was gone. Now, right behind the Apple Car, this next product was probably Apple's next biggest moonshot, Apple Glass. But before we get into this unreleased product, I want to quickly mention today's sponsor, Squarespace. If you've ever wanted to build a tech blog, set up a clean portfolio, or launch a professional site for your brand or side project, Squarespace makes it simple. No coding, no complicated setup, you just drag and drop, make a few tweaks, and suddenly you've got a polished designer-level website. One thing that really surprised me was their AI-powered blueprint tool. You give it a few details about your site, what it's for, what you want on it, and it auto-generates a full layout with content and styling that actually fits. And if you're into metrics like I am, the built-in analytics tools are seriously helpful. Whether you're building a blog, an online portfolio, or even rolling out members-only content, Squarespace has everything built in. So go to squarespace.com to start a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use squarespace.com/punkwave to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. But getting back to Apple Glass, these were supposed to be lightweight AR glasses that look just like regular prescription frames, but could overlay directions, notifications, messages, basically a heads-up display for real life. Think Google Glass, but way more refined and way more Apple. The idea actually made sense. Apple had already been investing in AR and LiDAR scanners on iPhones and iPads, ARKit and iOS, and rumors of custom chipsets built specifically for wearable displays. By 2020, reports were everywhere. Analysts said that the glasses were real, and that prototypes supposedly existed. Some leaks even said that they'd be called Apple Glass and start at $499. People thought Apple Glass would be the next iPhone-level product, something that wouldn't just complement your phone, but possibly replace it over time. But here's the thing, Apple never actually confirmed it, and the more the Vision Pro development ramped up, the quieter things got around Apple Glass. Eventually, it became clear, Apple wasn't launching both products. The full headset was coming first. Now that we've seen the Vision Pro, it's pretty obvious what happened. Apple Glass was too early. The tech wasn't ready, the battery life wasn't there, and Apple knew that they couldn't make glasses thin and light, so instead, they hit pause. Not cancelled, just shelved. And honestly, Apple Glass still might happen someday, but only after the Vision Pro becomes mainstream, if that ever happens. But the next unreleased product we're going to be taking a look at is AirPower. I actually made an entire video about this one already, so I'll keep it brief. AirPower was announced in 2017 alongside the iPhone X. It was supposed to be Apple's perfect wireless charger, one mat that you could charge your iPhone, Apple Watch, and AirPods all at the same time. No precise placement needed, you would just drop your devices anywhere on the surface and let it do its thing. It looked like peak Apple design, clean, simple, and effortless, but behind the scenes, AirPower was a complete disaster. It turns out that cramming multiple overlapping charging coils into a thin mat causes overheating. After over a year of silence, and with the product still being listed on their website, Apple officially canceled it in 2019. It's still one of the only times Apple has publicly scrapped a product after announcing it. And while plenty of third-party chargers now offer similar functionality, AirPower remains one of Apple's most infamous hardware failures. Now, this next product has been rumored for years, and every time a new Pro iPhone comes out, the same question shows up. Is this the one that finally supports the Apple Pencil? It's not like the idea doesn't make any sense. With iPhones getting bigger screens, better displays, and more Pro-level features, adding stylus support seems like the next logical step, especially with the 6.9-inch iPhone Pro Max models. There were even leaks for the iPhone 14 Pro Max, claiming that Apple had tested a smaller version of the Pencil that would magnetically attach to the side of the phone. Some reports said it would launch as a $49 add-on, but launch date came and went, and no Pencil. So why hasn't it happened yet? One theory is that Apple just doesn't see the demand. Most iPhone users navigate with their fingers, and the iPad is still their go-to device for creative work. Adding Pencil support to iPhones might just blur the product lines too much. Another possibility, their previous marketing. Apple has spent years mocking styluses, with Steve Jobs literally saying, "Who wants a stylus?" back in 2007. Even if it makes sense now, Apple might still be hesitant to go back on that. Apple Pencil for iPhone is one of those features that always feels right on the edge of happening, but never actually does. Now, out of everything on this list, the next one probably made the most sense, and yet it still never happened. After Apple brought back the iPhone SE in 2020, leaks almost immediately started pointing to a second version, the iPhone SE Plus. It was supposed to be the same idea, flagship performance at a lower price, but with a bigger screen. Some rumors said it would use the iPhone 8 Plus body, others said it would jump to a 6.1-inch LCD panel like the XR. Either way, it felt like a no-brainer. And for a while it looked real. Everything pointed to it launching aside or shortly after the iPhone SE in 2022. But then, nothing. Apple never announced it, and the longer they waited, the more obvious it became. The SE Plus wasn't happening. By the time the iPhone 14 lineup dropped, the whole SE series was already starting to feel outdated. And eventually, Apple just moved on completely. Instead of refreshing the SE again, they launched the iPhone 16e, which effectively replaced the iPhone SE lineup altogether. So what happened with the SE Plus? Apple realized that adding a bigger screen at a budget price would eat too much into the sales of their mainline iPhones. Still, it's not hard to wonder what it could have been. A budget iPhone with a modern-sized screen and a top-tier chip would have been a killer deal. But like a lot of things, it never made it to stores. So what do all of these products have in common? They show that even Apple doesn't get everything out the door. For every polished keynote reveal, there are countless prototypes, ideas, and near-finished devices that never make the cut. Some of them might still happen one day, but most, they're just a part of Apple's long list of what-ifs.